Session on overview of regulatory submission network, CTD and eCTD.
Yeah. Thank you once again for your patient hearing, and we continue with the different types of submissions as we discuss different types of application and different regulatory bodies. And this is also again I gathered information for you which is easily available. So CTD, as you know, it is a common technical document, and it is a joint venture from tripartite organization from USA, Europe, and Japan. So in nutshell, CTD is formed by this ICH tripartite organization from US, Europe, Japan under ICH M4. Okay. So ICH, everybody knows they wanted to have harmonization. In old days, when I was in industry from 1995 till 2008, the submission was like in mess. If you see, we used to submit as per our own thoughts, own understanding. We never used to follow the formats, and that is why the FDA or any health authority used to get different kind of submissions, and some data was available, some data was missing. So there were lots of gaps, in the presentation, in the communication, and in the documentation. So that is why they brought together this ICH, a very beautiful format wherein everything is streamlined. First of all, try to understand why to go electronic, because of quality, because of cost, and because it is environmentally, responsible. We all are environmentally responsible to save our trees, right? So how, with respect to quality, it matters. We should have better quality, and the entire life cycle of the product is covered when we submit our application in electronic format. Correct? And it is a easy and rapid call-up of information, of course. Cost, if you see, we used to send truck loaded of paper in old days. So the transportation cost was also included into that. So we are started saving a cost for paper and the transportation. And the storage and was the biggest issue. Storage and archival requirements are reduced, and it is more faster, more efficient, and even reviewer, for the reviewer, they save the time to review, and we get the quicker approval and the quicker registration. But the most important factor is environmentally responsible, how it is. We have to save tree, right? The one NCE was approximately 240,000 pages, and paper would be 672 kg to send one application, which is equivalent to one average tree. So just imagine there are so many applications, so many product variants, the renewals. So many tree they have been cut in those days. And that's the reason we have to save our tree, because all papers are made out of tree. Then these are the benefits, main, accepting initial marketing authorization at the agency. You can see so many pellets, 3 to 4 pellets required, or a truck for transportation, and 80 boxes represent approximately 3 to 4 pellets. You can see 100,000 pages represent 250 volumes. That's how the technology is evolved, and we are really lucky to have this eCTD format. So in eCTD also, if you see, there are two types, NIS and eCTD. NIS is a non-eCTD electronic submission, which is a scanned version of paper submission without backbone, without XML backbone. Whereas eCTD has intelligent PDF file and with backbone. So this is the major difference between NIS and eCTD. Okay. So this is a popular triangle. If you search CTD, you will get this type of 100 triangles. And just try to understand this triangle is very important. It is divided into 5 modules. Correct? So what are the 5 modules? Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, 4, and 5. Module 1 talks about regional administrative information, and which is always said that it is non-common part of CTD. Why it is said not common? Because of regional specific requirement, and it varies from region to region. Correct? Then module 2 talks about the high level of summaries for module 3, 4 and 5. So it comprises of quality oral summaries of non-clinical overview, clinical overview, and clinical overview and summaries of, clinical. So module 3 again, it is called as a CMC module for the drug substance and drug product. It is also called as quality module. Okay. Then module 4 is non-clinical study reports. Module 5 is clinical study reports. And in eCTD, how does it look like? This is your 6-digit CTD number. Okay. The first application is always your tetra 0. And then you set up your all modules 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the main folders of module 1 to 5. And then you import this module into your eCTD software, which is 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. Then the automatic util folder, index.xml file and MD5 checksum is generated. So after eCTD, this is how the module look like. So let us understand the core component of eCTD. The folder structure you have seen, I have described earlier in the previous slide, right? So this is the folder structure. Then this is eCTD submitted via DVD or CD, or it is uploaded through ESG gateway, electronic secured gateway. It has regional XML file. It has XML backbone. It has checksum and document ID. And it has content file, right? So content file is already available in your PDF. These are the main component of eCTD. The LIF document, the files with the information, mostly PDF files, where some data files wherever required, mainly for USA. And the directory structure, somewhere to put all files, right? One directory under which there is folders and subfolders. So subfolders and folders, it is called as all PDF file is a LIF document. Okay. And the XML backbone means a way of managing all the information about submission and the files in the submission, as well as relationship to the previously submitted file and submission. What does it mean? It is the TOC, like table of content of whole entire CTD, correct? And it is also linked with the previous submission also. In case of variation, you can link parallel variation also with the help of eCTD. So understand the language in eCTD. XML is an extensible markup language. And I will show you the how does it XML looks like. The backbone is the table of content of your XML format. LIF contains about document in eCTD, which is a physical file available under each folder. Node is a section in eCTD, like example 32S41, okay, which contains the LIF document. This is a node. Then eCTD file name is also very important, because you have to write a file name in very short and separate two words by using hyphen, simple hyphen. Don't use any special characters. Okay. So this is a file naming convention you have to follow. Then LIF title or the eCTD title. Okay, like cover letter or the form FDF 356H, like that, so that the reviewer will come to know easily what is that exact document. Okay, the file name, the LIF name is very important. Then the sequence. So as I mentioned earlier, when you are submitting original, tetra 0, 4 times 0 is your original submission. And when the subsequent submission with any revision or changes happens, then it becomes 0001, 0002, like that. So this is the sequential number assigned for eCTD sequence. And this is how the XML backbone looks like, So you can see there are new button, So these are all attributes, the operational attributes. So there are 4 attributes we will discuss in future slide. So you will see all this blue. If you click there, it will take you to the file destination. Okay, so all module are arranged, and this is the TOC of this XML backbone. So while preparing your document for CTD or eCTD, you have to be ready with the template which are technically correct, you know. So if you see the granularity, there are huge documents required during your compilation from module 1 to module 5. Okay. So you have to have a right granularity, you know, and you have to conform to external regulation and guidelines while designing your granularity. And it should be consistent with your internal standards, styles, naming convention, etc. And all the intelligent PDF file uh, has to be there so that it can be easily traceable, traceable when you apply through search engine. You know, whenever you want to search for suppose validation of paracetamol tablet, so it would easily search through your entire folders. So as I said, granularity is very important, and it defines how your completed document is broken down, tagged, and stored for use. So now just imagine I have made one dossier of paracetamol tablet and which I have submitted to suppose Europe or USA, and later on my company is looking for another market like Canada, Russia, China, or whatever. So with minimum changes, you can move forward with next market. And that is why all the files, the granularity which is stored while application to your Canada or US will become, can be reused. So that is why how granularity is maintained, it is further broken down and tagged. It depends on you. The skill set is required, eCTD skill set. Then you have to determine smallest piece of information that is reusable. Why this is important? Smallest piece of information. Suppose if you are attached PDR, okay, pharmaceutical development report, which has 6 to 7 section, okay, P2, 2.1, 2.2 to 2.7. And so in some later stages, suppose if you want to change any information, and if you attach all the section as a separate document, P2.1, that is how you develop the formula, like pre-formulation studies, right? Then the compatibility. If you make small sections, out of small piece of information, it becomes easy for you to maintain. If later stages, if there are any changes, you can just replace that small part of compatibility studies or stability studies. You don't have to revise entire document. So that is why it determines the smallest piece of information that is reusable. Then changing granularity during life cycle is difficult. Once you make sure that each piece of information you have taken care of and your entire granularity is properly organized and you submit the dossier, then during life cycle management, it becomes very easy task for others. Even if you leave the organization after 5-10 years, the other people will easily manage your life cycle of that product. So therefore it must be planned at the beginning. So FD has given the guidance is, each document should be provided as a separate file. What is meant by intelligent PDF file? A file converted to a special PDF format, enabling links and bookmarks to be applied, and hence it is searchable. This we have discussed earlier, right? Then the cross-referencing and referencing is also important, right? The bookmarks, how we use through the intralink and interlink. You know the difference between intralink, right? Most intralink document means within a document, correct? To set each link manually would take many hours, and that is why you can just mark. Suppose on page number 2, if I have to say to reviewer that, please review this table 1 along with table 8, which is available on page 50. Suppose if you have 50 pages documents and you are making reviewer job easy by the way of hyperlinking, correct? So coming back to stability report or the CSR, clinical summary report, which has suppose 50 pages. In that case, lots of tables are available, and you are telling you are adding comment to the reviewer that from page 2 table you refer page 8, the table 8 on the page 8. So you are hyperlinking so that reviewer's job becomes easy and it can be taken easily to that destination page. Okay. And that is how intralink is within document, and interlink is cross-reference given. So one document is referred along with the other document, which is available in another folder. So with the stability data, suppose if you want to tell reviewer that stability protocol is available in another section, please review along with this and just hyperlink. And this is how the folder look like, the granularity. This is module 1, module 2, right? Then module 3 and module 3 is again divided into drug substance, right from S1 to S7. And drug product, right, P1 to P8. And there is regional part, which is again divided into 3 to R. Okay, 3 to R and 3 to P. So this is how the module 3 is divided, the granularity. So you ensure that all the folders and subfolders are nicely arranged and all the content file, the documents are properly tagged under each folder. Okay. So this is how the module 3 and the original folder looks like. Then module 4 talks about the non-clinical. Module 5 talks about the clinical. Okay. So this is the bookmark example I have quoted. Suppose if you want to attach 4 documents, okay, under one appendices like protocol, summary of protocol, changes, or the list of investigator, demographic analysis. So then don't write as appendix 1, appendix 2, appendix 3. Instead of that appendix, you write down the name, okay, the protocol or whatever, name of that particular file and attach under these appendices. So that becomes, reviewer job easy. So that is the example of good bookmark and this is the example of bad bookmark. So pretty clear about bookmarks. Then as I said, there are 4 attributes, operational attributes. One is new, append, replace and delete. So each button, each operational attribute has importance. Okay, it is called leaf operation attributes, and this is the key, managing your entire eCTD during your submission. Okay, so what is the new attributes means? This leaf element has no relationship with leaf element submitted previously. Means entire new document you have to attach and use as new button. Correct? So whenever you are submitting Tetra 0, that is the original application, you have to use this new button. Okay. In case of 0001, the next version also you are adding cover letter as new. So use new button. Okay. Then replace. Replace means what? There is an existing leaf element is available. Okay. And to that you are adding some another. Correct. So that is replace. Okay. And then append. Sorry, I explained about replace, not append. So replace means what? This means this is an existing leaf element is available and with the new leaf element you are replacing. Append means what? There is existing element, okay? Existing document is available and with this new leaf element should be associated. Okay? So that is the difference between append and replace. And delete means everybody knows that there is no file being submitted and the checksum attributes value will be empty. Okay. And this is a table for US, Europe, the Japan and Canada. There's the address is given and electronic email contact. If you have any queries regarding eCTD for each region, we have given this. So now you understood the full eCTD. How does it look like? How PDF intelligent files, then operational attributes, then bookmarks, everything is understood. Though there are so many eCTD experts, we still face the challenges in eCTD. Okay, because it requires a cutting edge technology and seasoned staff. Because all people are not trained. All people are not trained. Hands-on training is not given. I still remember when I started in 2010, hands-on training in my institute, CTD, CTD. People used to come from Kenya, UK, and so many places to take this hands-on training. And we have our licensed software so that we train all people on hands-on training. Now the same thing we have converted into online training program because of COVID pandemic. And this is very important when you want to work in US, Europe, Canada, and all these region as a regulatory professional, because all the content is not standard format, so standardization is required. Then there is regional differences seen in hyperlinking, bookmarking, PDF version, you know, and it's really difficult to implement last minute changes, and you should have product knowledge. Sometimes it is lost if the concerned employee quits, correct? So local affiliates have limited access to create or customize, and validation rules vary from region to region. Then sometimes baseline submission are costly and likely to be of limited use. Lifecycle management is also challenging. Differences seen in authentication of different region. Then the consolidated approach to drafting of dossier. Here many people facing challenges because draft means writing skills are also important, because how effectively you present your data, how effectively you justify to health authorities as per their standards, their rules and regulations. It is also a skill required. That is why sound scientific knowledge, effective communication becomes important. And in spite of all the benefits offered by the standardized framework of eCTD, there are still some setbacks with this kind of submission. Okay, and it's quite challenging for life science companies. And the major challenge is to find out regulatory tools that support the software adherent to the eCTD submission requirement. Correct? So the pharmaceutical companies must grasp all documents, responses to question and modification, restoration, etc. And the person who is having thorough knowledge, they should appoint in the company, and they should use the authenticated software, which is 21 CFR Part 11 compliant, train their employees, and train on how this integrated regulatory data and regulatory submission process looks like, how the granularity has to be maintained, how file naming convention, all other aspects to be followed. Now, there are many things to learn in eCTD. Again, within 1 hour, we cannot teach entire eCTD. So, this is a gist of eCTD. So, as I said, for the eCTD submission, it is very important to work in a team, because sometimes what happens, module 4 and 5 is brought together from the pharmacologist, like who is doing the BA studies, and he only knows how to do the study tagging file and all this, because that is a requirement for USFDA, and he should see to that quality of documents are organized and which are consistent with the guidance and internally consistent in the terms which are being used. And then you can always have scientists and the information system professional, which has to increase their understanding about each other's need in order to submit the dossier successfully. And entire training program has to be organized. Training calendar has to be designed by the employees. Uh, there is always a QA and RE department who design their self-development or the employee development program and make the matrix, who all have to be trained, when to be trained, how to be trained, how they have to be evaluated. So the training becomes an essential part. It is a GMP requirement as well. Okay, so that you keep all employees, how to sustain in this competitive world. So quality also matters. As we say, do what you say what you do, right? And prove what you do and say. So that is very important. Again, the you might have heard that lots of data integrity issues industry was facing during last couple of years, and due to this manipulation, data manipulation, fudging, and all cheating, many companies have received FDA 483. So see to that your organization employ proper people, purchase proper tools like eCTD software with the license copy, PDF license copy, so that your organization can save money, and increase the accuracy in submission, decrease your review time so that you get the faster approval, and in such way you can give the company a competitive advantage, right? And these are the basic principles for a successful and quality CTD submission, that you have to plan early, correct? Planning and preparation of your documentation, knowing the regulatory science, understanding what guidance are, applicable, understanding ICS CTD format and content specification, watching consistencies, understanding XML, knowing e-submission process and electronic backbone, and paying attention towards lesson learned, right? With the case studies, what other companies facing challenges, what all issues, what are warning letters all about, what are the discrepancies, deficiencies. So you have to study from the lessons, which already is published. Then purchase a right tool, as I said. So with early planning and preparation, you can really, have a good future in market. Then your understanding guidance document, understanding ICH format and content, we have discussed this. Then the watching consistency successfully, that is, you have to have your, practical workshop exercise, interactive session, like today also we have this discussion, real life case studies, right? So taking advice on industry based practice as well submission pitfalls from the reviewer's perspective will always help. Okay. So that's all about eCTD, and these are all references. Thank you very much once again. And we are now open for the question answer. If you still have any other question apart from this topic, I am available on my email ID, and you can contact through Gayatri ma'am or anyone, staff members from your college. And thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to interact with you.